Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera kepada semua rakan-rakan pensyarah yang dapat hadir pada pagi ini. Pada pagi ini kita this is actually a webinar, part of our webinar series yang kita adakan from time to time. Dan pada hari ini saya akan berkongsi satu tajuk dengan tuan-tuan dan puan semua. Tajuk yang berkaitan dengan pelajar, helping students to be effective learners. So saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada semua yang dapat join kita pada pagi ini. Kita sedang menuju ke penghujung tahun ya. So mungkin kita ada lagi beberapa siri webinars, mungkin by November or December. And now it's November already ya. So insyaAllah kita masih ada mungkin a few more webinars untuk kita tamatkan program untuk tahun 2021. Saya ingin mengambil peluang ini untuk mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua yang sentiasa menghadiri program-program CDAE. Memang tugas kami untuk membawa program-program yang terbaik untuk semua staf pensyarah USM especially, dan juga untuk rakan-rakan akademik yang lain di seluruh Malaysia, sebab kita juga sentiasa berkongsi program-program yang kita jalankan melalui live streaming di YouTube ya. Dan rakaman-rakaman daripada setiap webinar juga boleh diperolehi, boleh dilihat semula, boleh ditonton semula dalam YouTube channel USM. Saya ingin memohon kerjasama semua rakan-rakan pensyarah semua. Tolonglah hebahkan program-program yang dijalankan oleh CDAE. Contohnya program pada hari ini contohnya ya, ataupun program pada masa akan datang apabila diumumkan. So mohonlah kerjasama untuk hebahkan kepada rakan-rakan pensyarah yang lain dan galakkan mereka untuk join ya. Sebab kita ada sekarang ni mungkin 1,900 lecturers in USM. Let's say 2,000. Very soon probably about 2,000. Tapi kalau kita lihat dalam setiap program-program yang dijalankan oleh CDAE, if we are lucky we can get 100 plus ataupun dalam 200. Tapi selalunya around 100 or less. Itu kalau kita buat secara online. Kalau dulu kita buat face to face, lagilah bilangan yang sangat sedikit. So on average, let's say 100 to 200 participants out of 1,900 academic staff. So how many percent? Still a very, very small percentage. So what happened to yang lain-lain? Are they not learning from any of our program? So itu kadang-kadang persoalan yang sentiasa berada dalam fikiran saya, dan selalu kami ditanyalah in terms of how much have your program reach out to all our academic staff. Okay, so there is something yang itulah saya mohon kerjasama kepada semua. Mohon hebahkan program-program kita, dan juga selepas daripada program ini dijalankan, setiap webinar ada rakamannya di YouTube. So mohon kongsikan ya link rakaman tersebut juga dengan rakan-rakan pensyarah yang lain di USM dan juga di luar USM ya. Kita perlu kongsikan dan meluaskan. Okey, setakat ini kebanyakan program yang dijalankan oleh CDAE, boleh katakan hampir semua yang dijalankan oleh CDAE, kita tumpukan kepada pensyarah. Dan kita ada juga jalankan program untuk pelajar, tapi bilangannya sangat sedikit. Dan biasanya kita buat dulu, kita buat face to face, kita buat lunch and learn 1 jam waktu tengah hari. sebab sangat sukar untuk mencari masa yang sesuai untuk belajar. Tapi majority of program yang dijalankan oleh CDE ditumpukan kepada pensyarah, how to teach basically, yeah, how to design your course, how to do assessment, what kind of tools you can use, bagaimana nak menggunakan platform e-learn, bagaimana nak buat assessment, bagaimana nak buat learning activity untuk student engagement. So itulah tumpuan kita untuk selama inilah, ya. Then suddenly I realized we have done so much for our lecturers, program for our lecturers, and even then pun we are not sure how much it has impact the teaching, yeah, in terms of teaching for the lecturers. Then we realized that very little program, very few programs and effort to help the students. Jadi saya fikir mungkin sudah sampai masanya, especially selepas kita mengalami pandemik, kita sedar bahawa pelajar kita memerlukan banyak bantuan, especially how to learn, how to become effective learners. So inilah fokus of this program, dan ini adalah permulaan. InsyaAllah kita akan menjalankan banyak lagi program. Saya akan menjemput pakar-pakar yang boleh membantu kita untuk memberikan memberi webinar ataupun bengkel, workshop, ya, yang fokus kepada membantu pelajar kita untuk belajar secara lebih efektif. Okay. So that's basically the topic of our webinar today, helping students to be effective learners. So saya ingin melontarkan beberapa soalan untuk kita fikirkan bersama. Questions to ponder upon. First one is this: how much time do we invest in ensuring our students learn effectively? Cuba kita fikirkan, ya, in our daily life, daily activities as a lecturer, day in, day out, how much do we really put our effort and time, invest our time to design our course in such a way that we always think about students learning, ya. Kita banyak sangat cakap tentang outcome based, ya, education, OBE. So we talk about learning outcome, and I know kita semua pun, saya rasa semuanya tertekan, ya, untuk menyediakan semua documentation untuk OBE. So we focus too much on the orang kata the details of preparing the documentation, the file, everything, thinking about whether we can achieve the learning outcome or not. Cuba kita fikirkan sekarang ni dalam konteks student, because at the end of the day, the focus is on the students. How much do we invest our time in helping students to really learn effectively? Bila kita menyediakan everything that we need to prepare dalam OBE punya documentation, kita akan berpandukan kepada taxonomy, learning taxonomy, Bloom taxonomy, okay, C1, C2 dan sebagainya. So sekarang ni mungkin kita dah mahir. I assume kita dah mahir lah, ya. But do our students know about this? Yeah, know about Bloom taxonomy, know about the different levels in Bloom taxonomy, ataupun pernahkah mereka mendengar pun tentang Bloom taxonomy? So kita faham banyak tentang Bloom taxonomy, and yet the students maybe oblivious. Diorang tak tahu, diorang ini yang nanti kita akan katakan lebih banyak lagi, ya. So inilah yang saya maksudkan, how much time do we invest in ensuring our students learn effectively? Then have we ever taught our students how to learn? Kita sendiri, adakah kita pernah diajar how to learn? The proper technique how to learn. Not only how to study, but how to learn. Okay? Have we been taught how to learn? And now, have we ever taught our students how to learn? We just assume, we just take for granted that they know how to learn. But in a real sense, actually, in a real in reality, they don't really know the proper way of learning. So actually, we need to teach them a proper way of how to learn. The third one is, think about this: do our students have an understanding of effective learning strategies? And how can we assist students in increasing their sense of self-efficacy? We will talk about self-efficacy nanti, and encouraging self-regulation. What is self-regulation? What is self-efficacy? So kita sebagai lecturer mungkin kita tak ambil tahu sangat tentang perkara-perkara ini. Mungkin pensyarah kita memikirkan itu kerja CDE. So CDE is there to help the lecturers, to help the students as well, to help the lecturers how to teach, to help the students how to learn. No, it's not like that lah. Bukan begitu. Kita sebagai pensyarah, sebagai guru, perlu memahami learning itself, what is learning, the real meaning of learning, and learners, the students themselves. So inilah menjadi fokus kepada apa yang saya ingin kongsikan dengan rakan-rakan semua pada pagi ini. So antara perkara yang saya ingin sebutkan di sini, kita berada dalam suasana yang berbeza sekarang ini. Kita telah mempelajari, kita mendapat iktibar daripada kejadian pandemik yang berlaku, yang masih lagi sedang berjalan. So-called kita perlu menyesuaikan diri kepada suatu budaya pembelajaran yang baru. New culture of learning, I call it. Kita perlu bergerak from apa kita panggil content-centric to learning-centric. Sekarang ni kita banyak sangat fokus kepada content. Sekarang ni fikiran kita dalam 14 minggu ni, silibusnya yang inilah yang kita nak sampaikan. By hook, by crook, or by hook or by crook, by 14 weeks, semua content saya dah cover. Kita sebagai pensyarah, kita akan cover. So itu kita punya fokus. Tapi sebenarnya kita perlu bergerak. Kita change our mindset that we need to have a mind shift, ya. Moving from content-centric to learning-centric, we call it. Learning-centric. Fokus kepada learning. Then deep understanding of the science of learning. Ada banyak research yang telah dijalankan sekarang ni dalam cognitive neuroscience, yang banyak dapatan yang telah dilaporkan, yang telah diperolehi, dan sekarang kita boleh menggunakan the knowledge from cognitive science, neuroscience research, brain-based, we call it brain-based learning, dalam merangka kita punya kursus. How do we use this knowledge from science of learning to design our course? Okay, deep understanding of the science of learning. So kita perlu menerima hakikat bahawa kita sedang berada dalam satu dunia yang dipanggil dunia VUCA. Ya, mungkin anda semua pernah mendengar istilah ini, VUCA. VUCA stands for volatility, dunia yang sentiasa berubah. Rate of change is very fast, exponentially. U stand for uncertainty, ketidakpastian. Dan kita telah melihat apa yang berlaku dalam pandemik, ya, COVID-19. Ada banyak ketidakpastian tentang hal-hal yang berkaitan dengan vaksin, pakar-pakar bertelagah dan sebagainya. So there's a lot of uncertainty, unclear about the present. And if you are not unclear about the present, what's more about the future? Kemudian C is complexity. A lot of complex problem that we need to solve now and also in the future. Dan kita perlu kadang-kadang kita perlu membuat keputusan dalam keadaan di mana data tidak mencukupi. So we are also seeing that happening dalam keadaan pandemik sekarang ni, ya. Kita nak buat keputusan sama ada nak buat third booster ataupun tidak dan sebagainya. Ambiguity, ya. Lack of clarity about meaning of an event. Kekaburan tentang sesuatu, tidak jelas. So inilah dunia yang kita berada dalam sekarang ini. Bayangkan dalam keadaan dunia VUCA ini, sistem pendidikan kita masih lagi dijalankan dengan cara yang lama. Dan kita sebenarnya perlu menyediakan pelajar-pelajar kita untuk dunia VUCA. Di mana kalau kita hanya fokus selama 4 tahun ini untuk memberikan mereka pendidikan untuk skill set yang tertentu, knowledge set yang tertentu sahaja. Apabila mereka keluar, they will end up working in different environment and maybe not related to what they have done in the university. So we cannot prepare our students just for a specific knowledge set or skill set, because when they go out, they probably need to relearn or retool, because they have to do a totally different job. So inilah yang perlu kita lakukan sekarang, adalah untuk menyediakan our students to be agile and to be adaptable to whatever environment they will end up with when they go out. And that is where we need to teach them the skill of learning how to learn. So if they can acquire and master that skills, then they will survive in whatever situation they will be. They will end up in the future. So mungkin masa untuk kita dalam kesibukan kita dengan berbagai-bagai benda yang perlu kita lakukan sekarang ini, saya ingin menyuruh kepada semua rakan-rakan pensyarah, kita kena stop and pause and think about our existence here in the university is basically to educate our students. Our students, they don't really care about what we are doing in our research. Walaupun itu kita tanggungjawab kita untuk deliver for the university. What they care is they want to get the best education, untuk bekal mereka apabila mereka keluar daripada university. So maybe it's time now, because of the pandemic, kita dalam situasi di mana kita ada masa sedikit untuk kita reflect, sebab kita melihat apa yang berlaku when kita mula dalam PKP, kita buat online learning dan sebagainya. Kita boleh melihat di manakah gaps, ada banyak gaps ataupun kelemahan dalam sistem kita. Kita boleh melihat pelajar kita struggling to learn. Kita juga sebagai pensyarah juga struggle to do online learning dan sebagainya. We are not clear about the assessment, we are not clear about the exam, we are not clear how to create content for online learning. So lecturers and students both struggle and still trying to grapple with the reality, the new reality, also called the new norm. Okay, so it's time for reflection now. Take orang kata apa ni, pause and reflect, and mungkin masanya untuk kita mencuba cara-cara yang baru, ya. Okay, when come to learning, so mungkin saya nak minta tuan-tuan dan puan semua look at this question, just to see how much we know about learning. How do we learn? Okay, so kita sebagai pelajar dulu kita tahu, dan we are still learning ourselves. Okay, bila kita baca buku contohnya, kalau kita nak betul-betul memahami, mungkin kadang-kadang kita baca semula, kali kedua, mungkin untuk student pula, mungkin untuk test atau exam dia akan baca, reread. Ataupun ada setengah orang suka highlight dengan pen highlighter tu, ataupun garis, ataupun tandakan dengan penanda, bookmark tu. Ataupun satu lagi recall, retrieval practice. Okay. Satu lagi kaedah pembelajaran, ya. Recall atau retrieval practice, dan satu lagi create concept map ataupun mind map. Antara 4 kaedah ini, yang mana yang anda rasa teknik yang paling efficient in terms of learning? So to do this, saya akan beri link ni dalam chat box, then please respond to the questions. Okay, so let's take about 30 seconds. This one should be very fast. So indicate which technique has been shown by research. So this is actually evidence-based, to enable you to learn most efficiently. Mana boleh cuba agak lah, yang mana agak antara 4 yang paling efektif. Okay. So kita lompat sekejap ke website. Okay, ada nampak. Saya mohon kerjasama semua yang ada dalam Webex ini. Ada berapa orang ya? Oh, okay. Kita ada 100 lebih ya. Not bad. Yang mana ada dalam Webex ni, tolong war-warkan kepada rakan-rakan ya. Ajak dia orang join sekali. Belum terlambat lagi, kita masih lagi dalam peringkat awal dalam webinar ini. Encourage dia orang, galakkan dia orang untuk datang ya. Even your student pun, if they are available, ask them to join ya. Of course they can watch the recording, tapi it's different. It's good to have a direct session like this ya. Okay. Zana tolong paste link tu dalam YouTube ya, Zana. Mungkin yang watching di YouTube, I don't know how many, boleh juga participate. Sekarang ni mungkin yang dalam Webex saja, saya tak pasti. Anyway, kalau kita lihat setakat yang kita ada ni, nampaknya ramai yang menjawab mind map, concept map ataupun mind map yang paling efficient in terms of learning, in terms of getting the most lah from what you have learned. Okay. Saya buat exercise ini dengan a group of new student recently, food technology student, and the answer is different from from apa yang saya dapat lah. So yang ini I assume mostly are lecturers. Yang sebelum ni saya buat exercise dengan student. So student, the group of student yang mereka beri yang paling tinggi adalah recall atau retrieval practice. Tapi this group concept map is the highest, meaning concept map is the most efficient. So boleh nampak lah beza dia. It seems like the students, okay, the answer is from research. Yang teknik yang paling efisien untuk teknik pembelajaran yang paling efisien adalah recall ataupun retrieval practice. Ya, recall ataupun retrieval practice. So it seems that the student actually got it right. Okay, anyway, thank you for responding. Let me jump back to the PowerPoint. So from this exercise, apparently there's so much that we need to know, so much to know about learning, so much to learn about learning. So kita perlu sebagai pensyarah especially, and also for students, we need to learn more, understand more about learning. Bacalah, explore, baca, just get your hand to anything to learn more about learning, because we are in the environment where we learn every day. Dan kita sebagai pensyarah perlu aware konsep dan teori, principles on learning, supaya kita boleh menyesuaikan pengetahuan tersebut apabila kita mereka bentuk khusus kita. Mereka bentuk kita punya lesson, kita punya lesson plan dan sebagainya. So there's so much to know and learn about learning. So hopefully CDE akan merangka banyak lagi program-program seperti ini, so that we can now learn more about learning itself. learning theory dan sebagainya supaya kita boleh apply dalam reka bentuk pengajaran kita. Okay. So let's now dive in further to understand more about learning and understand learners themselves, understand the student. Okay. Sebab apabila kita understand more about learning and understand our learners, what we want to achieve ultimately, kita nak menjadikan pelajar kita ni apa yang kita panggil future proof our learners, which means ensuring that they learn a wide range of skill or capabilities that will allow them to thrive in increasingly complex global workplaces and also in the VUCA world. Remember tadi I mentioned, we cannot just prepare our student or educate our student for a specific knowledge set, which is the syllabus, the curriculum in the 4 years, hoping that there will be enough for them to prepare them for whatever job when they go out. We cannot just prepare our student for a specific skill set, because in the future, we do not know what kind of skill set they need to have in the job. Therefore, what we want to do now is to prepare the students to be agile, to prepare the basic essential skill about learning, so that when they end up in whatever environment, whatever work job, they can adapt. They are agile and adaptable. Itu yang kita nak. They are flexible. Okay, itu yang dipanggil future proof. So kalau mungkin kalau anda semua pernah tengok program ini, I Shouldn't Be Alive, saya suka juga tengok program ni. What are the lessons we can learn from this program in the context of our student? One is semangat dan keazaman yang kental. Because apabila keadaan memaksa untuk survive, untuk terus hidup, so disitulah maka akan timbulnya semangat dan keazaman yang kental. This is what we want in our students, so that they are resilient. Yeah, dia tak lembik, they are resilient. They have a very strong determination. Okay, they have grit, perseverance dan sebagainya. Ketahanan diri yang tinggi, ya, endurance, resilient, and creativity. So inilah ciri-ciri yang kita nak dalam pelajar kita. These are the type of student yang tadi kita kata akan menjadi ada agility, agile, dan juga flexible dan very strong. So kalau dicampak ke mana pun, orang kata apa, benih yang baik dicampak ke laut menjadi pulau, dicampak ke darat menjadi dicampak ke laut menjadi pulau, dicampak ke darat menjadi gunung, dilontar ke langit menjadi kejora yang bergemerlapan. Ini yang kita nak dalam student kita, dan ini adalah amanah dan tanggungjawab kita. Ini adalah amanah dan tanggungjawab kita yang kita tidak boleh ambil ringan. Tidak boleh ambil ringan. Ya. Kadang-kadang saya rasa takut after 27 years coming to 28 years in USM. Ya, saya rasa takut sangat sebab saya rasa maybe I have not done my best in terms of helping students to become a good human being, a good learner. Okay. So, saya nak kongsi dengan tuan-tuan dan puan semua untuk kita prepare our students a future-proof, something what we call future-proof learners. On the right-hand side, ini adalah fokus saya pada pagi ini. Ya, on the left-hand side kita akan cover pada waktu yang lain. So kalau kita lihat di sini ada 8 dimensi of future-proof learners. Kita fokus kepada yang ini. InsyaAllah, we can do our job properly. Pertamanya apa yang dipanggil social-emotional learning, SEL. Dan ini menjadi semakin penting sekarang ini. Readiness to learn. Yeah, when we talk about social-emotional learning, we are preparing our students to be emotionally prepared, ready to learn. Readiness to learn. The mindset is the right mindset. They have the motivation to learn. Highly motivated. They have empathy. they have all the values that we want them to have to form a good community of learners where they can learn together, they can flourish together, they can help each other, collaborate, and so on. That's the kind of learning environment that we want to create. And that is where students can learn effectively when the environment is conducive, when the environment is right. And to get the right environment, this is where we need to learn more about what does it take to create a so-called social emotional learning environment. So a lot of element of psychology here. I'm not an expert, yeah. So I should declare right from the beginning that I'm not the expert in this. Everything that I'm saying today is based on my own reading, my own study, but I'm not doing research in this area. But we have friends from School of Education. I think some of them are here. So in the future, inshallah, we will get them to also help us to share some aspect of, for example, social emotional learning. Yeah, the educational psychologists, this is their area, and they should come forward to help us. Okay. Second one, which become even more important now, self-directed and self-regulated learners. Ini yang kita nak sekarang ni, kita nak didik pelajar-pelajar kita yang datang daripada sekolah supaya mereka menjadi self-directed and self-regulated learners. Apa maksudnya? Nanti kita akan lihat ya. So, kita perlu mengetahui, memahami apakah strategi untuk strengthen learners self-awareness. Self-regulated, self-directed, self-regulated learners adalah mereka yang sentiasa aware tentang diri mereka, self-awareness and learning skill. Okay, so this yang di mana kita akan menggunakan kaedah yang kita panggil meta-cognitive learning strategies. So kita akan huraikan lebih lanjut nanti. Kemudian brain-based learning strategies. I've been reading a lot on this one, brain-based learning strategies, sebab ada a lot of research being done on understanding how the brain work in relation to learning. Dan kita sebagai guru pensyarah perlu mengetahui those principles, brain-based learning principle and strategy, supaya kita boleh gunakan di dalam kelas kita, di dalam kita punya lesson design. So we cannot just orang kata apa, oblivious to those things. So now tugas saya lah sebagai dalam tugas diri untuk membawa benda ini supaya kita semua mengetahui, memahami dan apply dalam kelas kita. Kemudian aspek learning design. 1, 2, 3 ni, social emotional learning, self-directed and self-regulated learners and brain-based learning strategies, ini fokus kepada student kita. Ini fokus kepada student. Kemudian learning design is our part. Okay, our part to design our course in such a way. So we want now change the mindset from content, fokus terlalu banyak sangat pada content, tapi kita fokus kepada learning. Moving away from content-centric to learning-centric. Kemudian collaborative culture. Kita banyak sebut tentang collaborative learning, tapi sebenarnya how much that collaborative culture sedang berlaku dalam apa yang kita amalkan sekarang dalam PDP kita, dalam pengajaran dan pembelajaran. Kalau kita fikirkan betul-betul secara jujur, we have not yet done probably a lot. Maybe ada, tapi tak banyak. Dan mungkin kita tak tahu macam mana nak buat so-called collaborative learning secara berkesan. So inilah yang perlu kita pelajari, ya, to synergize and leverage the power of community of learners and also community of practitioners. Contoh, saya mengajar katakan satu kursus dalam teknologi makanan. Tapi apa yang saya buat hanya within my class. Saya tak pernah mungkin bekerjasama dengan pensyarah daripada UPM, UiTM yang juga ada mengajar kursus yang sama. I don't know what they are doing there. I don't know what their students are learning there. So we actually never really talk to our counterparts. so that we can learn the best practices from each other. Jadi apabila kita learn the best practices from each other and maybe we try to create a project, common project where our students can work together. That's an example of collaborative. And the beneficiary yang mendapat faedahnya adalah student kita. So itulah yang dipanggil sebagai collaborative culture. Professional educators dan yang lain-lain ini insyaAllah pada waktu yang lain kita akan lihat. Tetapi ini adalah 8 dimensi yang saya percaya untuk menyediakan our students for the VUCA world, the uncertain world, unambiguous future, volatile future dan sebagainya. So we are preparing them to be adaptable, to be adaptive, flexible, and they can survive, come what may, yeah, so to speak. Alright. Now, kita lihat yang pertama dulu, social-emotional learning. Ini sebenarnya sangat penting when we are talking about preparing our students to learn effectively. Don't even talk about learning if they are not if they are not emotionally ready. Okay, so itu sebab social emotional learning ini focus more on leveraging the social aspect of learning and also the emotional aspect of learning. Okay, so Plato kata all learning has an emotional base, and therefore this is a starting point sebenarnya. Before we even talk about Bloom taxonomy dan yang lain-lain tu, let's look at our students. Are they ready to learn or not? Especially dalam keadaan sekarang ni online, we do not know their situation at home dan sebagainya. Padahal itulah yang pertama kali kita perlu lakukan. Are they ready or not emotionally? Because all learning has an emotional base, kata Plato. So we need to tap into the power of emotion. Dalam satu buku berkenaan brain-based learning yang saya baca, antara kata-kata yang saya petik di sini, yang saya kongsikan di sini, dia kata, tap into the power of emotion. Touch their heart. Win the heart. Win their heart, and the rest, it should be easy now. They will join you. No, they would want to learn because you have won their heart. You win their heart, you touch their heart. So, itu yang dimasukkan dengan tap into power of emotion. Tapi the tendency is, sometimes we don't even think about it. We just jump in. We just want to make sure we start the week 1 until week 14. We will cover the syllabus and that's all that we have in mind. So, ini yang kita kata, let's start with Maslow before even talk about Bloom taxonomy. I'm sure many of you probably yang bukan from management background tapi have read, maybe have heard about Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? Dalam management, saya remember saya belajar benda ni, saya ambil satu paper management dulu, Maslow hierarchy of needs. Basically, it's just in a nutshell, it's basically as a human being, you know, first we need to survive first. We need to have protection, shelter, food. Okay. Tapi sekarang ni I've seen the first thing in Maslow hierarchy of needs is Wi-Fi. Yeah, Wi-Fi before even food. Wi-Fi is the most important. Okay, but you get the message. It's about survival, then security, sense of belonging. Then once these basic needs are fulfilled, barulah, you know, the yang lain-lain tu importance, self-esteem, self-actualization, and so on. Tapi yang paling asas adalah survival. The basic needs must be fulfilled first. So before we need to look at our students, whether they are emotionally ready, whether all the basic needs in the Maslow hierarchy is fulfilled. Then only barulah kita melihat dari segi, get them to learn now, help them to learn now, because the basic needs have been fulfilled. This is where we need, then we look at the Bloom taxonomy and so on, design our course accordingly, but we have to involve students, we have to guide students how to learn, and giving them the basic knowledge about the basic skill of learning. Okay, itu yang dimaksudkan dengan Maslow before Bloom. So social emotional learning, I just read from the slide here, is the process through which all young people and adults acquire and apply the knowledge, skill, and attitude to develop healthy identities, manage emotions. That's the key. Manage emotion and achieve personal and collective goals, feel and show empathy for others. So there's an element of empathy, emotion, empathy, establish and maintain supportive relationship. So if we have a batch of students, in order for them to form a community of learners, they must be able to feel sense of belonging. They feel comfortable emotionally. They can talk to each other. They can communicate with each other. They know each other. So that's where we have a community. So they can work together. They can, show compromise. They have empathy. So these are the elements yang kita bagi social emotional learning. Establish and maintain supportive relationship and make responsible and caring decisions. I think some of you, I can see tadi many of you from psychology background as well. So you know even better than me about this. But to me, this is the prerequisite, prasyarat. Semua pensyarah, semua guru perlu faham tentang yang ini. We have to get our students ready emotionally first before they are ready to learn. So sometimes we don't understand why students don't learn after we have put a lot of effort. Kadang-kadang kita rasa penat, oh lama student ni lah, then we blame the students because kita rasa kita dah buat macam-macam dah, kita dah buat macam-macam, and yet students macam tak ambil peduli, tak bother, tak buat kerja, tak respon dan sebagainya. We forget to check actually on the emotional part. We don't know what their problems. We never ask. We never bother to ask them. We just assume, take for granted that, hey, you are ready to learn. And it's not my job to check whether you are emotionally ready or not. I think probably that's the wrong approach. Well, it's my opinion, and we can agree to disagree. So social emotional learning, if you read in the literature now, the website and so on, because of the pandemic, this aspect of learning become even more significant now, even more important. Yeah, social emotional learning can help all young people and adults thrive personally and academically. So when they are happy, when they are emotionally ready, then only they can learn, develop and maintain positive relationship. That's what we need. We want our students in the group, in that particular batch, to have a positive relationship. And don't be surprised, and I have discovered this to my disappointment, a batch of students, 50 or 60, if you just make a quick check, ask one student, okay, do you know that girl sitting at the back in the pink tudung? Do you know her name? Ini batch yang sama nih, second year. They don't even know the name of their course mate after 2 semesters. So what kind of, can we say that the students in that particular group or that particular batch have a positive relationship. They don't even know the names of their coursemate. Tak ramai, baru 50, 60. So how do we want to create effective learning in this kind of environment where students don't even bother to know the name of their coursemate after 2 semesters? And very important also we want to educate our students to become lifelong learners. Not learning for the sake of grade. Nothing wrong with that. We should encourage also them to learn to get good grade, but at the same time, we want them to put meaning in the grade, whatever grade that they get. Put the real meaning behind it, not just for the sake of getting grade. So we want to nurture our students to become lifelong learners and contribute to a more caring, just world. And this is very much in line dengan falsafah pendidikan negara kita, falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan, which basically to nurture a holistic, balanced student that will serve as our future nation builders. So, social emotional learning makes a difference. We know this from the research. This evidence-based, yeah, which demonstrate that an education that promotes social emotional learning has a positive impact on a wide range of outcomes, including academic performance, healthy relationships, mental wellness, which is a big issue nowadays, and more. So, my dear friends, my dear colleagues, ini the first thing apabila kita nak memastikan pelajar-pelajar kita can learn effectively, we must ensure that they are ready. They are ready in terms of emotion. So this is what we call social emotional learning. I hope you can explore further, read as much as you can about social emotional learning and reflect on it and see how much actually we have done in this aspect as part of our course design, as part of our learning design. Okay? All right. Now, the second part in the 8th dimension just now, if you recall, the first part just now is social emotional learning. Take care of their emotion, win their heart, touch their heart, get to know them. Okay? Ask about their family, ask about their living condition and so on, and provide any assistance that we can. Show empathy. The second one is about the learner, the student. We want to develop our students now to become independent learners. And we know very well, our students come from school, 12 years in school, and kita selalu kata, student kita ni, expect kita spoon feed paper. Kita selalu komplain kan tentang student kita, tak boleh itu, tak boleh ini, tak boleh berfikir, tak boleh independent, asyik nak tanya lecturer, asyik nak minta kuliah saja, nota kuliah, not resourceful, ya. Kita suruh buat some activities, tak dapat cari reference, dia tanya kita, doktor ada reference tak? Banyak berlaku kan? Dan kita pun kadang-kadang rasa nak hilang sabar jugalah bila dapat student yang bersikap seperti itu. But we don't, kita tak boleh blame diorang juga tau. Sebab they come from the system where they are too dependent on teachers. 12 tahun, 15 tahun, berapa, before they come to the university. They have been shaped untuk menjadi seperti itu. The mind has been shaped to be very dependent. So what to expect when they come to the university? We want them to transform suddenly? No. So kita perlu bersabar. Then we have to now teach them, develop them to become independent learners. How much can we do within 4 years? I don't know, but at least we try. At least we try. Okay. Some people say, how much can we do? That's not our job. And it's only 4 years. We have so much to do. Students have so much to learn. Okay, but somehow we have to give it a try. Okay, we have to give it a try because we want our students now from dependent learners expect to be spoon-fed. We want them to become independent atau apa kita panggil self-directed learners. So concept self-directed learning, self-directed learners. It's not a process in which learners take responsibility and in understanding their learning needs. Itu yang kita selalu sebut student-centered learning, SCL, student-centered learning, is about students now take responsibility of their own learning. They cannot say that kita semata-mata, the teachers or the lecturer, are responsible to teach them sampai jadi pandai. And, you know, and then they just follow and do whatever we ask them to do. Nothing more, nothing less. So that is not the way, yeah? What we want now is, we want our students now to take responsibility of your own learning. You know, you have to walk your own path. Nobody will walk the path for you. You have to do the learning. Don't expect us to do the learning for you, but we will design the learning for you. So we take from that approach. Don't expect me to cover the syllabus for 14 weeks, but I will design the learning activities in such a way, when you do the activities, you will uncover the content. So rather than I cover the content, but I will let you uncover the content. You take the responsibility, just do whatever learning activities that we have designed, and in the process, you will uncover, you will learn the content, you will learn the concept, you will learn the principles. Dengan syarat, both have to work together. Me, the teacher, and you, the student. It takes two to tango. This is exactly what I mentioned in my first class to my students. It takes two to tango. If I just do it alone, that's not tango. I'm just dancing alone, but I need a partner so that I can tango together. That's basically the concept or the philosophy. Okay, so we want them to take the responsibility in understanding their learning needs. Only you know yourself. Okay, establishing their learning goals and implementing learning strategies and evaluation. This is from my Knowles, Michael Knowles nama dia, yang banyak talk about the learning theory, adult learning theory dan sebagainya. Malcolm Knowles. Malcolm Knowles. So itu self-directed learning. What about self-regulated? Ultimately, kita nak student kita not only self-directed learners but self-regulated learners. Wow. Kalau student kita dapat didik dia menjadi self-regulated learners, then kita telah mencapai suatu tahap yang paling tinggi lah saya rasa. And this type of learners, when they go out, they can go anywhere, they will survive, they will be adapt, they can adapt themselves to any situation, any challenges. So what is self-regulated learning? Students can be described as self-regulated to the degree that they are metacognitively, motivationally, and behaviorally active participants in their own learning process. Don't worry about the metacognitive. I will elaborate more this word. But metacognitively, literally, in terms of the definition, is thinking about your own thinking about your own. You have the self-awareness. You are aware about your own thinking, your own doing, and you take charge. So self-regulated learners, they take charge of their own learning. They have full control. They take control of their own learning. They always think about their own learning, what they have learned, what they don't understand, what they have understood, what they still do not understand. So they're always thinking about, whatever they are doing. So that is self-regulated learners. Kalau kita dapat semua student dalam kelas kita jenis yang ini, then you will have a very easy, orang kata, hidup senang lah as a lecturer. But the hakikatnya adalah dalam mana-mana class, mana-mana batch of students, you will be lucky if you have 10% of the students self-regulated. Yeah, I think maybe in Harvard, maybe MIT, where they have all the cream of the knee, maybe you will have 90% of the students is already self-regulated, or maybe almost 100%, because these are really people who are highly motivated and always always thinking about their own learning. Yeah, so these are self-regulated learners. So how do we develop our students to become self-directed learners? So why we want them to become self-directed and self-regulated? Because if they are self-directed and self-regulated learners, they can learn very effectively with only a little help from us, a little assistance and facilitation from us. But students who are not self-directed or self-regulated, we as lecturers, teachers, have to put a lot of effort to help them. Okay, so if you see here, in terms of student role, what they need to do to become self-directed, or how do we know? Students' role in order for them to become self-directed, they are the director of their own learning. They detective of their own thinking, so they always kind of do some kind of inquiry or thinking or investigation of their own thinking. So this is what the metacognitive part here, thinking about their own thinking about what they are doing, what they are learning, and so on. For example, let's say after the session today, if you are a self-directed and self-regulated learner, we are also learner, yeah. So we will reflect on what you have learned in 2 hours just now. Okay, these are the things. And maybe the next level where you will note down, you will make your own summary, you will put it somewhere, and maybe next day you will look at the notes again. So these are the kind of self-directed learners where they always think about their own thinking. They collaborate with peers and teachers. They are pattern seeker through diverse ideas and experiences. They are always thinking about what they are learning and looking at whether they can identify certain pattern from from what they are reading. So they they are co-constructing success criteria, setting their own goal, monitoring their own thinking, self-questioning, they always ask questions, self-regulating, selecting among strategies. So if there are few strategies, they will study which strategies is better in terms of learning and in terms of doing other things, providing self and peer feedback, applying feedback, deciding what to investigate next, adjusting learning behavior. These are all the ciri-ciri seorang pelajar yang self-directed. And they are not aware. Ya, they are not aware. Jadi tugas kita sekurang-kurangnya, kalau kita tak ada peluang untuk memberikan pendedahan kepada pelajar kita, look, this is what you should be, self-directed learner. So sekurang-kurangnya kita boleh berikan mereka show them the resources, or ask them to spend some time during weekend maybe. Why not you just watch this video about self-directed learners? Because if you want to be successful as a student and learn the proper way of learning, then so at least sekarang ni kita dah tahu, oh okay, I need to teach my student to become self-directed learner. Now you know, okay? Then you find out, you read more. Then later on you can direct the students to the right resources so that they can learn now. Selama ni kita tak pernah buat benda-benda ni. Sebenarnya kita perlu bantu our students to become a better learner. Okay? not just focus on the subject matter sahaja. Okay. So our role pula, ini our role, designer of empowering lesson plan. So macam mana kita nak menggunakan kaedah-kaedah tertentu supaya kita boleh beri peluang kepada student, empower the students to take certain responsibility, because we want them to become self-directed so that they take responsibility of their own learning. Tapi kalau kita tidak beri peluang itu, we don't create the opportunity, then there's no way they can take responsibility of their own learning. Okay, detective of student thinking. So kita kena observe, whether our students really learn something, whether they are thinking about the problem. We can see from the response, the answer, whether they give a very insightful answer or not, or whether they just give one-line answer without much thinking, and therefore you need to do some intervention there. Yeah, evaluator of their own impact on learning. Kita sendiri pun kena tengok diri kita sendiri sebagai seorang pensyarah. Are we continue to learn new things and so on? Are we helping our students sufficiently? Are we providing sufficient feedback to our students? Or are we just going by the flow, waiting to finish the syllabus week by week until 14 weeks? So we have to truthfully and sincerely ask ourselves. It sounds quite, the way I say it quite harsh, tapi itulah hakikatnya. Kita perlu sentiasa mempersoalkan diri kita sama ada kita telah pun menjalankan apa yang sepatutnya kita lakukan, ataupun kita hanya do enough. We don't go the extra mile. Actually, helping students to learn is actually going the extra mile. Something that probably most lecturers, most teachers don't expect to do to that extent. Dia kata, is that my job? My job is to teach this subject. That's all. How do you expect me to now help the students to learn also? Kan? So itulah antara beberapa ciri di sebelah kanan ni. Maybe I'll be sharing the slide. All the slide that you see on the screen, I'll be sharing the slide, the link for you to download. Don't worry about. So you can revise later on. Yeah. Thank you, Justin. I can see your name appear on the screen. Thank you for always support our program, Justin. Thank you. So I think let's take 5 minutes break. Then kita akan continue 10-8 minit. Yeah. Let's take a break, short break now. We come back at 10:08. Yeah. Sana ada slide yang 5 minutes break ada. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. Let's continue. Inshallah, I will try to stop by 10:50 so that we have 10 minutes to answer some of the questions. Let's continue. There's another, so far, we have discussed about self-directed learner or self-directed learning, self-directed learners, self-regulated learners, self-regulated learning, and self-regulated learners. And there's another one that I think we need to know, and maybe please read more, yeah, on this one, self-efficacy. We want our students also and teach them, nurture them to have the so-called self-efficacy. Apa maksud self-efficacy? It's a belief, yeah, kepercayaan, a set of attitudes. It's related to the attitude that one can achieve their goals and succeed in a given situation. Kita nak tanamkan, we want to put in the student's head, student's mind, yeah, the I can tu lah, yeah, the attitude of I can do it, the attitude of where there is a will, there is a way. Di mana ada jalan, di mana apa? Di mana ada apa ni? Di mana ada
kemahuan, Prof.
Kemahuan. Thank you. Siapa? Di mana ada kemahuan, di situ ada jalan. Masya Allah. Yeah. When there's a will, there's a way. That kind of attitude. Sebab kita selalu menghadapi, dan kita pun selalu berungut, kan, selalu komplain. Our student ni ada attitude problem lah, ya. Our student. Attitude problem. So yes, we need to help them to have this so-called self-efficacy. So kalau low self-efficacy, this is where the students kata apa, I will never be able to master this. I was born this way. I fail and that's it. Kalau you all baca buku by apa ni, buku growth mindset, ya, by, selalu saya lupa nama dia, that lady, buku growth mindset. So this is low self-efficacy is actually fixed mindset. I cannot. I've never done this. Or, you know, I'm not tech savvy, or I'm not into technology, or I'm not doing, no, I'm not. So there is a low self-efficacy, fixed mindset kind of mindset. So we do not want our students, kalau they want nak jadi self-directed, self-regulated, then they must also have self-efficacy and high self-efficacy, which is, if they fail, they said, okay, I can learn from my failure. If I fail, I will fail forward, meaning that I learn from my mistake and I will improve upon it. So if I fail, it's okay. Failures are part and parcel of life. We want them to have that kind of mindset, accepting failures as part of the journey, part of the learning journey. And I will try harder next time. I can achieve this. I know I have the talent. I have the strength. So I'll put more effort next time. I know I have not put much effort. So there is the metacognition part. Thinking about their own thinking, or thinking about what they have been doing. They know that they have not put enough effort there. They acknowledge their mistake. They acknowledge their weaknesses. And that's a starting point for them to improve. We want to take them to become self-regulated. I'm in charge of my own learning. I will take the responsibility. I take full control of my own learning. You know, nobody will help me if I don't help myself. That is the self-efficacy yang kita perlu tanamkan dalam diri dan jiwa pelajar kita. Bantu mereka. Kita perlu bantu mereka. Ya. So let's we are talking about understanding learning itself and understanding our learners. But there's so much we can discuss within this, you know, time that we have. There's so much more to learn about learning. and then help our learners by understanding about learning. Only we can help our learners. Only we can understand about our learners. Because we want to make learning stick. Learning that stick, not stick only for the exam, but forever. So we want the students now to take whatever they learn that is in the RAM, in the short storage in the brain, transfer that to the permanent storage in the brain. Okay, permanent memory. And then they will be able to transfer the learning. So this is what we call learning transfer. Transfer the learning in the future when there's a need for it. When they are doing certain job, they now should be able to apply to the new situation. So that is learning that stick and transferable. So we must remember that learning is messy. Learning is messy by its nature. Learning is not linear. So we have to make our students understand that learning is not easy. You have to invest a lot of time and effort, energy as well. And therefore, if you work together with me and tango together, hopefully we will make the journey easier, more fun, not stressful, and at the end of the day, we can achieve the learning outcome together. We are on this journey together. Okay, we are on this journey together. That's the kind of mindset kita nak bagi student kita faham. Sebab very easy our student will mistaken or misunderstood what we are trying to do. Dia orang kata, oh Prokarim ni bagi banyak sangat kerja lah. Prokarim ni suruh buat itu, buat ini. Dia membebankan kita lah. Dia rasa terbeban. Dia punya mindset is, whatever we do, kita akan bebankan mereka. We want to change that kind of mindset. Memanglah mencabar, tapi itulah yang perlu kita lakukan. So, learning is about connecting the dots. So, bila student learn new thing, they just see random dots. Our job is to help them to connect the dots. So, help them to connect the dots so that they can see they can achieve the outcome. When they are able to connect the dots, basically we have achieved the learning outcome. But if you're not able, for some reasons, they are not able to connect the dot, there are missing point, the missing connection there. So they will not be able to achieve the learning outcome satisfactorily, successfully. And worse, when they are trying to connect the dots and they connect the wrong dots. They are not connecting the right dots. So this is a scenario where students learn the wrong concept. They have misconception. And we don't give them the feedback. We don't give them the right feedback. We don't intervene. We don't do intervention. So they will end up graduate from USM believing that that is the right thing. That's the right concept. And worse, when they end up teaching, become a lecturer, they will teach the wrong concept to the students. I have seen this happen. That's a very worst scenario. So we have to be careful giving feedback and intervention to make sure students are able to connect all the dots correctly. Failure of doing that is also our failure to help the students. So we want to make the learning meaningful. If they are able to learn effectively, we will be able to make learning meaningful for them. It makes sense to them because when they are able to connect all the dots, only then it will make sense to them. Because they can see, oh, there's a picture of a dolphin here. Initially, they don't really see what's actually the whole thing until they are able to connect all the dots. Then only they can see the whole picture, which is the learning outcome. So they can see the big picture. They can see the forest or the tree, so to speak. Okay. So yeah, making sense. When learning making sense to our students, so that is where we can say that the learning outcome has been achieved. And this so-called learning growth model, I think is a very good diagram for us to really understand how we can take our students from the so-called novice learner to an expert learner. You can see on the Y is effort, on the X is cumulative knowledge and time. So initially, when we have a new group of students taking the course, so it's new course for them. It's a new thing for them to learn. So they are novice learners. Everyone will go through this, including us, when we learn new thing. So we are novice. We are novice learner. We don't know much, or we don't know anything at all about the topic. And this is a so-called challenge zone. It's a challenging zone because we don't know anything about the topic, about the subject. So the learner has to put a lot of effort here, a lot of the investment of effort in terms of time, in terms of energy, focus, and so on. Okay. Then after some time, they become the experienced learner. So this is where effective learning start to happen. This is where they, what we call become learning experienced learner. So from here, challenge zone to learning zone. From novice learner to experienced learner, they grow. So learning is about growth. Learning is about growth. Growth of knowledge, growth in characters, growth in personality, growth in experience, growth in wisdom. So learning, that's why we call it learning growth model. Our job, our task, our responsibility is to take the student from novice learner to become experienced learner. Take them from challenge zone to learning zone. And here probably the students need a lot of assistance, or something what we call scaffolding. Or we will talk about scaffolding shortly. Then when they become experienced learner and they continue to learn, now they are experienced learner, they are more comfortable. So they will learn more and more and more. Then they become at another level, become expert learner. When they become expert learner, they're now in the agile zone. What is the meaning of agile? Agile means, it's agility, agile. It can learn very fast, can move very fast, can adapt, can when they are given new problem to solve, they will be able to apply whatever they have learned. So they are in the higher level of Bloom taxonomy cognitively. They are also emotionally comfortable because they have confidence. Yeah, they have confidence. When they have confidence, they can solve the problem, and they have the skill to find the information, to filter the information. They have skill to collaborate with other team members, with their friends and colleagues to solve the problem. So this is what expert learner is, the agile zone, and this is what we want to achieve. But of course, over time, the knowledge will accumulate, and it will take time to take the student from novice to experienced to an expert. This is what we call a learning growth model. Self-directed and self-regulated learners will always think and assess themselves and reflect to see where they are in the journey. Whether they are still struggling, therefore they need to do something, maybe getting help from the lecturers, or maybe working together with their colleagues. So they have to be more resourceful now, because they are still in the challenge zone. So they have to assess themselves whether now they feel comfortable. Okay, after the 4th week, now I can see, I can make sense of what I have learned. So they know what they need to learn more. They need to read more. They will find more references, more books to read, watch more videos on YouTube, whatever necessary. So they become now experienced learner. An expert learner is where now the expert learner can now play a role as to mentor, to mentor other students, to help other students to learn because they are now an expert learner. As a lecturer, we are an expert learner. We have learned that particular subject, and before we teach, we study. We have to do a lot of, we have to study a lot. Then only we feel ready to teach. Because to teach is to learn twice, kan? So we are an expert learner, and our students are still at a novice learner. So I think by understanding this learning growth model, we should now we have more empathy to understand about our students, because now we can assess where they are in the learning curve, in the learning growth model. Itu sebab saya kata jangan always remember we were once a student. Saya selalu katakan kepada pensyarah-pensyarah muda especially, jangan lupa dulu kita pun pelajar. So bila kita dah jadi pensyarah, ya, kita tak sabar nak marah student selalu je. Sebab itu pun tak faham lagi. Oh, kita cepat je kita nak marah sebab kita tak bring our level down to that level. Okay? So now, saya nak minta kerjasama juga. Ada 3 soalan. Saya nak minta tuan-tuan dan perempuan semua buat soalan ni. 3 soalan, boleh buat dalam 30 soalan aja. Saya bagi link sekarang dalam chat. Ya. Okay, boleh tak buat sekarang soalan ini? Link dalam chat. 3 soalan yang dipaparkan dalam skrin ni. Do you know about something called 4 levels of competence in the context of learning? Tak tahu tak apa ya, don't worry. Do you know about the Dunning-Kruger effect in the context of learning? Dan soalan yang ketiga, do you know about the zone of proximal development in the context of learning? So mohon kerjasama, kalau boleh semua dapat jawab soalan ini. Ada sebab mengapa saya bertanya soalan ini. Ya, ada sebabnya. So mohon kerjasama, dalam 30 saat kita boleh siapkan yang ini, ya. Okey, kita akan tengok hasilnya. Alright. 30, 40. Okey. Tahu kita ada berapa orang ya sana? Okey, kita ada 100 lebih.
100 lebih.
Okey, alright. Tak apa, kita boleh tunggu lama. Kita tengok merah maknanya no. Okey. Tengok berapa ramai lagi boleh dapat. Merah tu. Jadi bukan banyak merah daripada biru . Saya expect biru ni mungkin from orang education kot. Yang merah ni mungkin from non-education, majority mungkin. Okay. So, dengan bilangan respon yang kita ada ni, kita akan teruskan. Tapi 3 soalan ini, ramai yang merah. Maknanya ramai yang tak pernah dengar, tak pernah tahu tentang apa yang dipanggil 4 levels of competence, Dunning-Kruger effect, dan zone of proximal development. Well, not surprising, because kita tumpukan kepada kita punya subjek je kan. Kita mengajar subjek kita, dan these are all about kita fikirkan yang ini education punya area. So we don't need to know. But now I realize sebenarnya kita perlu ambil tahu. Ya, kita perlu ambil tahu yang ini. Serba sedikit. Sebab yang ini akan membantu kita memahami pelajar kita, and therefore membantu kita untuk membantu pelajar learn more effectively. Ya, so majority adalah kata no, tak tahu. Alright, now I come back to my PowerPoint. So sekarang ni saya nak memperkenalkan satu apa dipanggil quadrant of competency yang terpanggil 4 levels of competency. A quadrant of conscious competence dipanggil, ada beberapa nama. So this is very important. I hope you can focus for a few minutes while I'm explaining this one, because this is such an important thing that we need to understand. Of course, you can read further after this. So on the Y, we have consciousness. On the X, we have competence. So we have on the lower end incompetence, on the high end competent. Consciousness on the lower end is unconscious, on the high end is conscious. So kita bagikan kepada 4 kuadran. Yang ini kita boleh kaitkan dengan slide yang tadi tu, the learning growth curve tadi, ya, learning novice, experience and expert learners. So bayangkan bagi sesiapa student atau kita sendiri, kita nak mempelajari sesuatu yang baru. Okay, so kita berada dalam kuadran yang ini, unconscious incompetence. Unconscious maksudnya tak aware, incompetence maknanya kita tidak ada skill ataupun knowledge dalam that particular subject matter. So inilah keadaan di mana we don't know what we don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Okay, you don't know, you're not aware that that particular skill ada pun, ataupun that particular tool wujud pun untuk kita buat gunakan untuk sesuatu. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know that the thing exists. Okay, ataupun ini juga dipanggil oblivious lah. Tak ambil peduli, tak ambil tahu. Unconscious incompetence. Tak aware dan juga tak tahu, tak mahir. Ini suatu keadaan di mana kita baru dalam sesuatu, baru nak mempelajari sesuatu subjek yang baru. Dan bayangkan dalam kelas kita bagi lecture dan sebagainya, kemudian kita tanya soalan. Okey, semua faham? Ada soalan? Hardly, susah nak dapat any student to raise their hand. Because why? If that is the first time they learn about that concept or that topic, they don't know what they don't know. So they don't know what question to ask. So jangan kita rasa terperanjat atau rasa macam kecewa atau marah sebab student ni tak tanya soalan. Faham semua? Faham? Okay, this is called unconscious incompetence because they don't know what they don't know. They are not aware what they don't know. The next level, when they start to learn, okay, when they start to learn and start to understand, so now they become conscious incompetence. Now they know what they don't know. So, but they need to learn more. They are not yet competent. Dia belum cukup faham lagi betul-betul. Tapi dia tahu, oh okay, I need to learn more because I have yet to understand. I still don't understand a lot of things, but I need to learn more. So dia dah conscious, dia dah aware. Tapi dia masih belum cukup competent lagi. Ya, belum cukup. So conscious incompetence. So kalau pelajar dah mula sedar bahawa dia perlu mempelajari dengan lebih lanjut lagi tentang konsep ini, tentang tentang prinsip ini, tentang teori ini. So learning will start there because they have acknowledged. Dia telah acknowledge bahawa dia banyak lagi tak tahu. Maka dia perlu baca lebih, dia perlu study lebih, dia perlu explore lagi, dia perlu cari banyak lagi reference. So ini kalau dalam growth curve tadi, dia dekat novice punya level. Conscious incompetence. The next level adalah conscious competence. This is where the student can do something when you concentrate on it. When they concentrate on it, they become experienced learner now, but they still need to focus on that particular task baru dia boleh buat. Tapi dia dah competent. Cuma dia kena secara sedar, dia kena follow the step by step. Misalnya kalau kita memasak lah, kan? Kalau masak contohnya, kena tengok resipi, masuk tu, masuk ni, dia dah boleh buat, tapi dia perlu fokus kepada task tersebut supaya dia boleh melakukan dengan sempurna. So they become experienced learner already, but still striving towards mastery. Bayangkan macam kita belajar bawa kereta lah, kan? Mula-mula kita tak tahu apa itu clutch, apa itu semua lah. So unconscious incompetent. Then kita mula belajar. Okay, clutch macam ini nak balancekan dengan ini. Okay, kemudian kena tengok cermin dulu bila masuk, betulkan cermin, so they become conscious incompetence. Banyak lagi yang dia perlu belajar. So dia pun terus belajar selama berapa minggu sampai dia dah okey. Dia dah okey dah boleh bawa kereta, cantik dah semua. All the routine dah ni. Cuma dia kena conscious, dia sentiasa conscious. Okey, bila masuk kereta kena betulkan cermin dulu. Okey, start kereta, then boleh bawa nicely, tak ada tersengguk-sengguk lagi. Tetapi dia still always kind of thinking about, okay, nak balancekan the clutch pula. Itu kalau kereta manual lah kan. Lebih kurang macam tu. Dia dah become experienced learner. Still striving towards mastery. Take time to become that mastery, menguasai betul-betul skill. Yang paling tinggi adalah unconscious competence. Yang ini macam kita lecturer lah. Kita dah mengajar subjek ni 10 tahun. Kita boleh masuk dalam kelas, tak payah bawa nota pun. Kalau PowerPoint tak ada pun kita boleh mengajar because it's on the fingertips. It become automated, kind of automatic aja. You are expert already. You have the mastery level. It become effortless. Senang, orang kata just a breeze. Unaware that you tak sedar pun you buat. Macam kalau you drive kan, selalu berlaku pada saya kan. Hari ni sebenarnya nak tukar destinasi, nak pergi tempat lain tapi belok kiri. Sebab belok kiri nak pergi ke universiti. Sebab dia dah become automated. We are doing it without aware, realizing we are doing it. Itu dipanggil unconscious competence. Dia competence, very competence. Tetapi dia tak sedar apa yang dia buat sebab dah jadi rutin. Ini yang kita panggil dah jadi secondary nature. Second nature. Bukan secondary, second nature. Dah jadi macam orang kata part of the DNA lah. Okay? Unaware that you are actually doing it effortlessly. This is our level now as a lecturer. Tapi there's a danger there. There's a risk there. Sebab kita boleh jadi apa yang dipanggil expert blind spot. Itu dah expert. So bila dah jadi expert ni, kita boleh ada blind spot. Apa maksudnya expert blind spot? Kita tak faham mengapa orang tu tak faham. Kenapa student kita masih tak faham lagi? Aku dah terangkan berapa kali dan kau tak faham juga. Kan? So kita fail to bring our level down to that level. We fail to provide assistance ataupun scaffolding. Kita tak bantu dia orang. Kita terus macam seolah-olah kita campak dia orang dalam swimming pool and expect them to learn to swim. We throw them to deep end of the swimming pool and expect them to learn to swim. Some of them can, some of them will lemas, majority of them. So we need to kind of help them, taking them slowly. So this is what we call scaffolding. Scaffold structure. Bila buat building, you need to do the scaffold. This is a temporary structure. So when the building is ready, when that part of building is ready, you remove the scaffold. So itu konsep scaffolding dalam pembelajaran. Provide step by step. Okay. So dalam konteks Bloom taxonomy, kita bagi student dulu low level, low cognition, C1, C2 kind of activity untuk menyediakan dia sebelum kita bagi dia complex problem yang C4, C5 dan seterusnya. Tapi apa yang berlaku lah, kita bagi terus dia orang complex problem to solve and they are not able to solve, then kita marah dia orang. Because we fail to provide them the scaffolding. We should provide them with low cognition activities dulu, barulah kita bawa dia orang kepada high cognition activities. Lot before hots. So, I think this is very good for us to reflect on us. Because sometimes we always forget. Itu sebab saya selalu ingatkan kepada rakan-rakan, especially pensyarah muda, ingat kita dulu pun student juga. Kita dulu bermula dengan unconscious incompetence. Sekarang ni kita dah berada dalam unconscious competence, expert. So always remember, before you are an expert, you are a novice. Empathy itu sangat penting, reflection sangat penting, sensitivity sangat penting untuk kita memastikan. Otherwise, when students they fail to move from the first unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence, they will lose confidence. Dia hilang keyakinan. Bila dia hilang keyakinan, dia akan mula meminggirkan diri dalam group work, dia tak contribute dan sebagainya. So, they become disconnected and detached. So, there's no engagement there anymore because they have lost their confidence. They don't feel they can contribute. Yeah. So, this is an expert blind spot. Very, very important. And this, I hope you can read more. And, there's a lot of video on YouTube explaining about these 4 levels of competence. And the next one, oh, by the way, just now when you did the quiz, the survey, most of you said no. You have not heard about 4 levels of competence. So you have not heard about Dunning-Kruger effect. So you are here in the context of the level of competence, you are here. Those in the red zone just now, in the red area, you are unconscious incompetence. You don't know that you don't know. I don't even know. I never heard of it. So you are here. Hopefully now, after I've explained this, you become conscious. You know now, but still incompetence. You're still kind of blur. So maybe you want to read more so that you become conscious competence now. Oh, now I know about this and how to apply. Now I have to be careful. I need to understand my students more. And hopefully you become unconscious competence. Nampak tak? So the survey just now, just to illustrate the point. Dunning-Kruger effect. You are unconscious incompetence. You never heard of it. Those in the red area just now. So let me talk about Dunning-Kruger effect. Oh, okay, before that, there's this quote here from Charles Bukowski here. Dia kata apa? The problem with the world is that we have intelligent people that are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. We can see many around. Stupid ones are full of confidence. Dia rasa dia tahu semua. Intelligent people, they are full of doubts. They always, before I open my mouth, I should be careful. I need to find the evidence. I need to, learn more. So this is very relevant because when I want to introduce you to this Dunning-Kruger effect curve. Yeah, Dunning-Kruger effect curve, and this is related to just now the level of competence just now. On the y-axis we have confidence, low, high. On the x we have competence, knowledge, experience. Know nothing to guru level, sifu level. Okay, so this is very interesting. When we start to learn something, just now I mentioned about, I give you all the surveys question that Dunning-Kruger effect, Vygotsky proximal development, zone of proximal development, ZPD. What is that? So you know nothing. You know nothing about those things just now. You know nothing. But when you start to learn something, then some people, when they know a little bit about something, they have a very high level of confidence. Then they feel they know everything already. Dia tahu sikit tapi macam dia tahu banyak. Dia berlagak macam dia tahu banyak. Itu yang dipanggil peak of Mount Stupid. Okay, so at this level they're unconscious incompetence. Yeah, they don't know what they don't know. They only know a little maybe, but they pretend or they show as if they know a lot. There are people like that. Dia terlalu memiliki keyakinan diri yang tinggi sangat, ya. And this ini yang kita bodoh sombong lah, dalam istilah yang kasarnya, bodoh sombong kan. Dia tak tahu tapi dia seolah-olah dia tahu. Macam tu. Itu panggil unconscious incompetence. When they start to learn more, then they realize, oh, okay. In fact, yang dia tahu sikit itu pun mungkin salah konsepnya. So when they start to learn more, suddenly they feel, wow, there's a lot more I don't know. So suddenly, boom, valley of despair. Suddenly dia rasa, wow, there's so much more that I don't know. I need to learn more. Okay, so dia dah mula acknowledge. Dia dah mula acknowledge that dia tak tahu banyak benda lagi. Dia perlu belajar. So student kita, dia perlu tahu di mana dia. Ya. kadang-kadang dia rasa dia dah tahu. So dia tak nak study lagi. Dia tunggu sampai exam. Dia dah attend the lecture, dia dah baca sikit-sikit, dia rasa dah tahu dah. Tunggu kat ujung nanti nak test atau nak exam, barulah dia cram balik semua, study semua. In the end, they don't perform well. Because they have the false kind of apa, ini yang kita panggil apa tu, what's the term? The cognitive bias, cognitive bias. Dunning-Kruger effect ni is the cognitive bias, maksudnya dia apa ni, dia tak sedar sebenarnya dia tak tahu banyak lagi. Dia hanya ada surface understanding saja. So di sini at this valley of despair, when teachers or lecturers help them to slowly take them through a series of low level activities, low cognition activity yang kita panggil scaffolding. Then they start to learn more, understand more, become clearer and clearer. Then the confidence increase, the knowledge increase. So ini panggil slope of enlightenment. So this is where we as learning designer, the lecturer and the teacher can use a so-called brain-based learning strategies, design appropriate learning activities, learning strategies to help students to gain more understanding, take them from the low level of Bloom taxonomy to higher level of Bloom taxonomy. Engage them cognitively through various learning activities yang kita design dalam setiap lesson kita. And then they will reach level of plateau of sustainability. This is where they reach level of conscious competence. Expert learner, experienced learner, but not yet mastery level. Kalau mastery itu dia kena lagi lah menguasai, go deeper and deeper and deeper to reach level of mastery. So our job untuk student become effective learners is to take them through this so-called Dunning-Kruger effect and through this quadrant just now, through this quadrant just now, from here to here, okay, from here to here to here. Then only they will grow just now from novice learner to become experienced learner to become expert learner, right? So let's talk about scaffolding, scaffolding, because this is very important for us to make sure that students are ready to learn more. They are ready to go to a higher level in cognitive Bloom taxonomy, from C1, C2 to C3, C4, C5, C6. We must take them slowly. That's why we call learning curve. Kan? Selalu kan kita kata, there's a lot, the learning curve is very steep. What does it mean by that? Meaning that the steeper is the learning curve, the more difficult is the concept or the subject or the principle or the theory. We have to take them slowly. Otherwise, the student would not be able to get good grasp of the concept of the subject matter. So there is something called zone of proximal development by Vygotsky. Orang education tahulah ni. Kita tak tahu. Sebab unless kalau you proactively learn about all these things, then you know. Otherwise, kita akan jadi unconscious incompetence. We don't know pun ada wujudnya something called zone of proximal development. Sebab kita tak ambil tahu. Tak ada orang bagi tahu. So, kita di dalam zone unconscious incompetence. But now, I have mentioned it. So, maybe let me explain so that I can take you now to become unconscious unconscious competent. Okay? Sorry. Conscious incompetence. Conscious, now you are aware. Tapi masih lagi faham gitu-gitu je. Okay? Faham gitu-gitu je. Okay. Kadang-kadang confuse juga. Those words, So, zone of proximal development ni berkaitan dengan scaffolding lah. ZPD, zone of proximal development. So, on one side, we have student, what the students can do, current knowledge and skills. So ini student yang dah apa ni, conscious competent ya. Maknanya dia dah tahu apa yang perlu dia tahu dan dia pun dah pandai. So dia dalam keadaan macam comfort zone lah, stable, comfortable. So dia boleh jadi bosan sebab dia dah tahu unchallenged, dia perlukan something more challenging now, easy and safe. So this comfort zone so called. Whereas on the other end, kita ada student yang masih lagi struggling. The student, I don't know, when we introduce new concept, new principle, new theory and so on. So student perlukan banyak bantuan di sini. What the student can't do, currently beyond reach. So bila dia orang tak tahu dan tak faham lagi, they become stressed. They can lose motivation, become unmotivated, anxious, frustrated, exhausted, fearful. So when we have students in this situation, they will become disconnected from the rest of the group. So we will have problem with student engagement here. So what we need now is what we call the challenge of a zone of proximal development, where we need to, ZPD or zone of proximal development is a gap. We need to identify that gap, what the students is currently capable of doing independently and what they can do with support, with our support, what kind of support we can provide, what kind of intervention we can provide. So inilah yang kita panggil scaffolding. Very important this one. Selalu kita miss this part. Ya, kita terus jump sebab nak cepat nak bagi perhabis syllabus. Kan? Okay. Dan bila student fail to perform, dan kita pun marah. Kita pun kecewa. Kan? So scaffolding is a term used in the field of education to describe the act of assisting students in acting or thinking more effectively, thoroughly, deeply, or at a higher level task. After that, remove the scaffold when they are ready, when they are in the third quadrant just now, where they are conscious, competent. Yeah, they are aware, conscious, and they are competent, but they are not yet have the mastery. So at that level, kita dah boleh remove the scaffold. So they are now become independent, more independent learner, self-directed, and hopefully they will go further and strive to become to have the mastery. Then, if necessary, repeat the process by raising the scaffold a little higher each time until they no longer need assistance. So now that you know, now that you are aware, you are in the conscious incompetent now. So hopefully lepas ni boleh explore further. Hopefully we can have another session with, I will invite other people to go further. Today is about giving you just the overview, the big picture of what we need to know as a teacher, as a lecturer. Things that we need to know about all this principle, concept, theory of learning, so that we can help our students. We are now become aware. So now we are now at this level. For most of you in the red zone just now, you are now is again, competent, but conscious, but incompetent. Conscious, you are aware, but yet still incompetent lah, belum betul-betul memahami. Yeah, so you need to read further, study more, read more, so that you become conscious, competent. Okay, about all these things, and therefore we can use this knowledge to design our course, to design our lesson. Yeah. Okay. Saya rasa mungkin cukup dulu setakat ni. Mungkin there's much more. There's much more. I will do a series of this. Hopefully you will join if you have time and you are able to do it. If you don't have class, I hope to do series of this, because there's so much more that we need to learn, to know about learners, understand them, and therefore we can become a better lecturer. Yeah, we can become a better academics, because that is the first and foremost, that our existence in USM is for that. I'm not saying that you must do less in research and so, that is given. It's expected of us to deliver. So, let's not argue about that. But as far as teaching is concerned, let's understand more about learning. Let's understand more about our students. and hopefully we can be a better lecturer, a better academic, a better teacher for our students, and a better learning designer. Yeah. So with that, I will share the slides now, and you will see there are many more that I have not yet covered. So I hope to do this second series, and I hope you will join so that we can learn more together. Yeah, we can learn more together. I'm not an expert. I must make this clear. I'm not an expert. I'm not from education background, but whatever that I share here is evidence-based. It's taken from research, from books, and I have been reading this a lot for a long time, and now I'm sharing with all of you. I hope to bring more expert in the area in the future. So there's the link given in the chat box for you to download the PowerPoint. So I want to maybe pick up one or two questions. Let me check. Maybe I won't be able to answer all. Is that question? Or you can unmute the microphone for those in WebEx. If you want to ask question, you can unmute the microphone while I'm looking at the chat to find the questions. Thank you, Maizura, Dr. Maizura. Appreciate that, Maizura. Okay, from YouTube mana lepas lah. Very difficult to read the question in the chat because it keep lompat-lompat. Okay, let me see. Dear Prof, in your own opinion, should the university offer bridging courses to help the students learn and become a better learner? Wow. Yes, I wish. I wish. In fact, I want to share with all of you. I'm now in the committee at the national level to revise kita punya MPU. MPU apa? MPU apa? Kursus umum kan? Kursus umum. Titas apa lagi? Kursus umum tu lah. So kementerian sedang melihat untuk revise. So I'm going to suggest that a course on teaching students how to learn. Sepatutnya yang ini mesti ada. Sepatutnya yang ini kena ada. Within the 15 units punya tu, kita kena masukkan di situ rather than kursus-kursus yang sedia ada yang to me, okay, I don't want to say more about that, but learning how to learn, this is where we need to teach our students. I'm trying to do my own initiative, getting student, I want to do a session with them, but it's going to be optional, tak nak paksa student. Tapi kalau boleh, kalau you nampak the announcement, tolonglah galakkan student to attend. Because I want to go direct to them and share with them what they need to know to become effective learners. I have to do this on both for the lecturers and for the students. Sebab lecturer pun kena faham juga. Kita kena faham how to learn. Then we teach the student and guide the students and help the students, assist the students how to learn effectively. Kemudian kita design kita punya course in order to make learning more effective for them. Saya tak sempat nak share apa ni sebab dalam waktu yang singkat ni. InsyaAllah saya akan buat sesi-sesi yang lain di mana kita akan go to more detail. What are the tools, what are the strategies, the tool that we can use dan sebagainya ya. So hopefully you can join in the future session. Walaupun mata CPD dah penuh. Ya, walaupun mata CPD dah penuh, datanglah demi ilmu, bukan datang untuk CPD ya. On my part, I will do my best to bring all this program to help you to understand more ya. Yes, I setuju dengan soalan tadi. Kalau bridging program ya, mungkin tahun pertama even before student masuk. Tapi I don't know the mechanism lah. Teach students how to learn. Not only that, teach them about issues of integrity, plagiarism dan sebagainya. Where do we teach our student all this? Tidak ada ruang yang banyak kan? Tidak ada ruang yang banyak. Sebenarnya itu tanggungjawab kita to make them aware, to make them understand, not just punish them when they make the mistake, when they do the, when they fail or when they make the. We just know how to punish. But we don't do our part to assist them initially. Something wrong there. I can see there's a lot of things that we need to correct. So this is the beginning. I hope. Please give me support. Please war-warkan ni pada rakan-rakan bila kita buat second series nanti, datanglah. Learn together. Yeah, I'm also learning. I'm also learning, and I'm very happy that a few lecturers from PPIP have contacted me to also help me in doing this kind of program for our staff and also for our students. Your support means a lot to me because I want to feel that I'm doing something that can change how we do things in USM. I don't have much time. As you all know, I'm retiring next year, but whatever time that I have still remaining, I hope I can put some programs that hopefully my successor can continue after my retirement. Yeah. And hopefully also after my retirement, I can continue to contribute if invited by USM. Rasa sedih pula bila cakap macam ni ya. Tapi itulah dia. My last words are probably I don't have time to answer another questions. Zana, please remember to save the chat because I want to go through the questions and to make sure I will answer the question in the next session. Yeah, because it's not fair for those asking questions and the question never answered. Kita suruh orang tanya soalan tapi kita tak jawab soalannya sebab masa tak mencukupi. So Zana, please make sure save the chat so that I can go through the questions, and I promise to answer the next one if you attend. And there's much more, much more. Okay, so you get the slides, then go through the slides, and we will have more in the next session. So with that, saya ucapkan terima kasih for your time. I hope I have given value for your time, and let's do this more because there's so much more to learn. Okay, so thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a nice weekend, everyone. Stay safe and observe the SOP. Stay safe and stay productive. Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam, Prof.
Okay. Zana, tolong save the chat ya. Jangan lupa ya, Zana. Bye-bye, everyone.
Terima kasih, Prof. Assalamualaikum.